After losing a loved one, some survivors may find that the pain associated with that loss doesn't lessen with time. Coming up on Polk Place, we'll talk with a bereavement supervisor from Good Shepherd Hospice. Make sure you stick around. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio is Susie Soliday. She's a bereavement supervisor with Good Shepherd Hospice. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. It's good to be here.
Well, the first question I always ask everybody when they come in with the COVID-19, how has COVID-19 how has it changed the way that you do business?
It's changed a lot, Brian, because we're not allowed to do face-to-face work any longer. And so we were offering individual counseling as well as support groups, and we were obviously seeing our clients, our bereaved clients, face-to-face. And so now that's not available to us anymore, but we have, we're still being able to provide those services, but we're doing it digitally now. We are able to do individual sessions on the phone and also on the computer via Zoom, or on our phones via FaceTime. And so we're still providing those services, and we're so glad that we can. We're just having to really think out of the box.
Talk about the need for these services that you provide. As we heard in the opening, it's learning to cope with it, but talk about the actual need for it.
Right, absolutely. You know, especially, anyone who's had the loss of a loved one needs support from someone, okay? And many people get that support through their faith or through their family or friends. And many people also reach out to organizations such as ours, and we work with anyone from the community who's had a loss of a loved one. They don't have to be associated with Good Shepherd Hospice to take advantage of our services. And so we are so glad to be able to companion the bereaved people in their journey through their loss. And so because of COVID, it's affected the way people are getting support, because many people aren't able to get out and volunteer. That might have been one of their ways to cope, to be with others. Many people are isolated from their families through this virus situation, so they're not able to reach out like they did before, like a person would have done before the COVID situation. And so the fact that we're able to offer our services through the phone, through the computer, we're so glad we can, because people are still able to connect with us and connect with each other and provide support that way.
One of the things I was introduced to through the Department of Veterans Affairs is support groups. Let's talk a little bit about the support groups that you have.
Thanks for asking, Brian. Yes, we do have support groups that meet throughout every month. We have a group that meets every week, and so people can call in on their phones, or they can log in via Zoom, and it's a great way for people to connect. And one of the things I've seen that's been very rewarding this summer is some of our group members who are out of town. Maybe they're in Wisconsin for the summer or whatever, and they're able to Zoom in with us on a regular basis and see those people that they got to know in group back in the spring when we were still meeting face to face. And just as far as group work goes, people are able to, they talk the same language, so they know what it's like to lose a loved one. They know the challenges that each other is having, and it's a wonderful thing to see them support each other and to encourage each other.
Are there any other groups that you might have that folks could join?
Yes, thank you. We have our child and teen group, and so we're doing that via Zoom. So a whole family can log on with us, and we can provide support to them that way through family activities. And that's been very successful for us. It's very nice to connect and see those families together. And we also have some specialty groups, Brian. We have our survivors of suicide support group, and we have a loss of an adult child support group as well. And so, as well as the child and teen group.
What about one-on-one counseling? Is that available, and how does that work?
Yes, it is. It is for both children and adults, and we're doing that again through the phone and through Zoom and through FaceTime. I was working with a little girl this week, and we did FaceTime and we played a game together. She lives in Davenport and I was in Auburndale, and we played a game and talked about her loss, and it was wonderful. So we're able to, as I say, kind of thinking out of the box as best as we can to provide that support for kids as well as adults.
As you mentioned, the kids, in a previous taping, we learned about the Children's Bereavement Camp through Good Shepherd Hospice. How has COVID-19 affected that?
It's a really good question. It broke our hearts, but we weren't able to do our Camp Braveheart this year. It would have been in April, and so we weren't able to do it. But what we've done to try to stay in touch with those children that would have gone to camp, because we were ready to go almost when we had to cancel the camp because of the COVID situation. So we've sent them a camp at home package, all the kids that were already signed up to come, and it had we had a video for them to view beforehand, and then also we had some things that we sent them in the mail for them to do an activity with their family and send it back to us to show that they had done that, and so to keep in touch with them. We have a new activity we're getting ready, another mailing to send to them, that they'll do a collage of pictures of their loved ones, and we're sending them all the supplies. And so we're very excited to be able to keep in touch with those kids, and then hopefully when camp comes back in the spring, we'll be able to re-invite those children that were going to come. So we're hoping that we'll be able to do camp next year as normal.
Well, as a nonprofit, how is Good Shepherd Hospice bereavement program, how is it funded, and how can folks help out if they should feel inclined to?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we get funding. We are partnering with the United Way of Central Florida, who are very supportive to us. They support us every year. We also are very blessed to get private donations from wonderful people in the community. Our hospice, our chapter's health system foundation helps us with Camp Braveheart and funding some of our programs, and we also have Hospice Women of Giving that have been very generous with us. So we're always very grateful for any donations anyone would want to provide for us from the community.
We have just a little bit of time left. Susie, if you could inspire those at home to get involved, someone that may have lost someone that knows someone that may have lost something, how would you inspire them to get involved with you?
Well, thank you for asking that, Brian. We feel it's really our mission to be able to walk with people along their grief journey. And it brings to mind a little boy that we had worked with in the past who just really didn't, his mom died, he just didn't really want to talk about it. He ended up living with grandma, and she was wonderful, but he just really was having some problems. He was able to come to our center, our Bethany Center in Auburndale, and go to our grief cave. And while he was there, he was able to write to Mom on the walls of the grief cave. And it's a dark room with bright lights, and we can, with black lights, excuse me. And he was able to kind of just start his grief journey by writing a note to Mom. And it really helped him and Grandma to connect and be able to talk. And so he's doing well. He's just one of our success stories. So I want people in the community to know that we do we are available for anyone in the community with no charge to them as far as our services go. And we're always looking for people to volunteer with us, with our child and teen group, and we're just forever grateful for the support of the community.
Well, Susie, I want to thank you for joining us, and anytime that we can help you with this, come back and see me, will you please?
I sure will. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that.
Good Shepherd Hospice offers virtual grief support available to Polk County residents. Support groups provide a safe place to express feelings, share experiences, learn about grief, and move ahead in the grief process. Due to COVID-19, they've temporarily suspended in-person support groups at their office locations. These groups are currently provided in Zoom video or conference call formats and can be joined at any time. There are different support groups for adults, children, and teens, and parents grieving the loss of an adult child and survivors of suicide. If you need more information, you can give them a call at 863-968-1739 or look them up on the web at www.chaptershealth.org.